Alright guys, well, I just finished recapping this RCI-39 VHP Plus, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I talked to the customer, explained to him what was going on, even though he wanted me to just do whatever. But I still wanted to run it by him because this radio is relatively not that old, and some would probably question why I would recommend recapping this radio. But also, on a side note, I can't believe the hate mail that I got from the previous video going over this RCI-39 VHP Plus, and it's almost cult-like. The following it's the best way I could explain it. The following that some of these radio manufacturers have, and I think people get butthurt when you basically just state the problems with their favorite brand of radio. And I got, within 1 hour of posting the video, I got 2 emails, and then later on I got another 3 emails, 5 emails total, about how RCI isn't trash, which I never said RCI was trash, but I'm showing fake or not connecting things up properly, or I'm showing fake results, this and that. It went on and on with the nonsense. And I came to the conclusion that when you post stuff on YouTube, you have to accept the fact that there's going to be people out there that are going to hate on everything, complain about everything. That's just how humans are. We can be pretty bad. But I'm willing to accept that. But one thing I don't do is lie and fake anything. What you see is what you get. So I just wanted to basically explain why I wanted to recap this and show you actual proof. So these are the caps. This is all the caps from the radio. I'll move you to a better viewing angle in a second. But this was the radio, if you guys didn't see. Now that's another thing. You guys make comments on stuff, and then you're like, you don't even watch the whole video and ask about stuff that was in the video. I don't understand. Anyway, it's expected of YouTube. But anyway, yeah, so these are the caps that I took out of the radio. And I'm glad I recapped this because I found 4 bad caps. And one of them was that JackCon capacitor that was that filter cap. And then some of these, I don't remember where some of these came out of, but these are the win cap. These are all win cap. I'll zoom in on this. But on another video, I had used the multimeter with the cap setting, and people complained about that as well, that I can't use a multimeter to test capacitors, and that, I wasn't testing ESR. I had clearly stated in that video that this doesn't test ESR, that you would need like a component tester like I have here. I have 2 of them. But just, for like fun to see exactly, what the capacitance was. This is more than capable of testing capacitance. Low value, high value, it doesn't matter. This is one of the top of the line meters that Snap-on used to sell. So I trust something more like this than I would a piece of crap like this TC1 or whatever that everybody uses. But whatever, that's fine. But I did use this one. I have a second one here that I've been using just to confirm my test results. And I even use this for capacitance testing. This obviously doesn't test ESR. These do. This will show you capacitance, and this will show you the ESR. And then we can also go to badcaps.net, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a well-respected forum where people can, normal people, techs, whatever, from all types of electronic repairs, from computers to radios to, whatever. People will post their experiences, specifically with caps, but just in electronics in general. I used to be a member there. I haven't posted in a long time, but I might start a new account there. But anyway, it's a place that you can go to for anything cap related. If you're recapping something, tips, tricks, people's experiences with cap manufacturers. The good, the bad, whatever. Anything cap related. If you have any questions on recapping or caps in general, that's the place, that's the resource to go to, is badcaps.net. And I actually have it pulled up on the computer here. But not only did I find some bad caps, I also found a couple of manufacturers that I've never even heard of that did come out of this radio. And this is a Stone bipolar or non-polar cap. I don't know. It's going to be tough to see. I'll get you on a better viewing angle. But anyway, this is, if you look at the radio itself, there's one non-polar cap, and that's going to be right behind the channel encoder here. This is actual real encoder, which is pretty cool. But there's a non-polar cap right there. It's a 1 microfarad? It is a 1 microfarad 50 volt cap. And this is from a manufacturer that I've never heard of. And believe me when I tell you, you can go to your own, if you have one of these at home, go and look. This one was a Stone. I've never heard of this company ever in my life. This capacitor actually tested okay, but again, I don't know the quality of this cap. I don't know. I've never heard of Stone. I went on badcaps.net and did a manufacturer search. It doesn't even show up on there, on the search there. So I found that a little interesting, at the same time a little weird. But this is what manufacturers do to keep costs down. They're going to use inferior components. And it doesn't really matter where it's made. It could be China, Malaysia, Japanese stuff, whatever, because some of the Nichicon stuff's no longer being made in Japan. Some of these other Panasonic or whatever, some of them are being, made in Malaysia. And that's fine. The quality is still there, I'm not saying that all Chinese caps are bad, or Taiwanese caps are bad. But some of these, I would say that WinCap is probably the, how can I put this? The cheapest cap that you can buy that's still from a known company, I guess is probably the best way to put it. You can find WinCap in computer components. You can find it in, a lot of stuff, right from the factory. But it doesn't mean that they're, it's a good capacitor, because they're not good capacitors. Just because RCI is putting them in their, radios, or just because, Asus is putting them in their, motherboards and, this and that, it doesn't make them good capacitors. It's just the companies are trying to find ways to cut costs while keeping their prices the same, so that way they don't have to jack up the prices on, you know, on their components so much. So what do? They cut costs elsewhere, you know, thinner traces. That's what RCI does. Whether you guys want to accept that fact or not, RCI boards suck. I work on them all the time. You know, the boards are, let me tell you something, the boards are nice. You know, nice fiberglass boards. They're thick, they're rigid, but the traces are just super thin. In fact, when I was recapping this radio, I had my desoldering iron on it, and I had to turn it down to 310 degrees Celsius in order to not burn up a trace. I was just scared to you know, burn a trace. And I had to turn it down so much that it wasn't even melting the solder anymore. So I had to just, you know, go old school and just go with the soldering iron with some braid after, you know, and wiggle the capacitor out, which there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, I would expect better quality out of a radio that you're paying $400 for. That's the only thing I'm trying to say. I'm not saying RCI sucks. I'm not saying any of that stuff. Everyone's cutting costs now. It's not just RCI. But truth of the matter is, I can take my soldering iron to anything, really, any other manufacturer, and not have worries about burning up a trace. But I worry about it with anything out of Ranger. That's just a fact. It's not. I'm not trashing anything. It's a fact. Those are facts. Ask any other tech. They'll tell you the same friggin' thing. These traces suck on these, and it used to be worse. It used to be worse. But anyway, those are just facts. Sorry for everybody who's an RCI lover. I love all radios. I have nothing against export radios, not at all. I have several of them, but you know, I see a lot more radios, you know, than the average just collector. You know, I do this for a living. This is my my job is fixing radios. But anyway, with that being said, let me get you at a better angle here, and you can see exactly what I did as far as recapping some of the values that I increased. Another thing was trying to get some bigger caps in here. It can be a feat sometimes, you know, because everything is just, all the components are just, you know, some of the spots, they're just super tight. And without getting a special cap, you know, special like a footprint type of a cap, you know, specific for this radio, it's tough fitting some of the stuff in there. But I managed. Everything worked out okay. But anyway, let me get you on a better angle here. And first I'll go through the radio, what I did there. Also, while I was recapping, I noticed some very bad soldering. So I put it under the microscope, and I ended up fixing a lot of bad soldering. Places where it was just, some of these components are just barely hanging on, you know. And another thing RCI does is they, I don't know if they pre-cut their caps while they're, or if they pre-grind the caps before they wave solder this, but some of these leads are just very short, you know, and then when you when it's being poked through on the other side, you can't even get, some of the soldering is just a ball, you know, because you can't get, you know, the lead isn't long enough to make a proper solder joint. So a lot of the times when this pokes through the back side of the board, all you can do is put a ball of solder on there. You know, it's just, I don't understand why you have to make the lead so short like that. But again, that's something that RCI has done. I don't know why. I don't know why the leads are so short. You can barely get a decent solder, you know, on the leads. And a lot of times when you're resoldering some stuff, and it's not just the capacitors, it's some of the other components too. The leads are so short, when you go back over them, you can't help but to make a ball on the end of the lead, rather than making a nice fillet, you know, or fillet, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, enough ranting about that. let me get you on a better angle here, and you can see the radio, and we'll flip it over, and you can kind of see the traces and whatnot. And we'll test out some of these caps that tested bad. All right, stand by. All right, so the capacitors I used are all Nichicon except for two values, actually one value. The big cap in the back, the filter cap, I decided to go with a 33, let me try to get a 3300, I don't know if you guys can see that. A 3300 cap, and then also on the audio, you get a little pointer here on the audio cap here. I went with a 2200 Nichicon, and yeah, the back is it's a 3300 25 volt cap. That's the only cap I didn't use. It's still a brand name cap, but I didn't have a 3300 microfarad cap for back there. And this radio needs all the filtering it needs, so I think that was an appropriate upgrade, because one of the cap that I actually tested was the filter cap. Nothing tested bad. It doesn't even it shows zero capacitance on the multimeter here, on the cap setting. People tell me you can't use the cap setting to test caps. That's ridiculous. But yeah, it didn't even show up zero capacitance on the cap tester. This one here showed up nothing damaged, and this one here showed up nothing damaged. So this might have been the reason why this radio could have had power issues, to be honest. So I'm kind of glad that I recapped this. But anyway, the caps I use, they're all Nichicon caps. I try to use 105 degree caps. There's only a couple values in here that are not 105 degree caps. But yeah, I try to use the best caps that I can. And yeah, that's basically it as far as for the radio. So let's go over to the caps that tested bad. Let me see if I can set you down here properly, and we can kind of go through the caps here. All right, I think that's, let me try to get the lighting a little bit better here. All right, first cap. It's this Jackon cap. Now, I don't think that this came from RCI with this cap. RCI probably had 1,000 microfarad cap in there, and one of the upgrades that's done to this radio is the filter cap increased the capacitance. So I have a feeling that wherever this was originally bought from probably had like a tune or an upgrade done to it, and somebody had put this Jackon cap in there. But anyway, this one tested bad. So let's get this, hopefully it's not too far away. Let me move closer in, because I was testing everything, and the battery ran out on these. People who have these know the batteries don't last too long on them. But let's get this on. The leads are so short that they don't even, you can't even get them into the component tester. You have to use these clips, which is fine, but again, this is the Jackon capacitor. All right. I've done this several times already, both machines. So this is another wind cap that came out of this radio. Another one. This is 100 microfarad, 16 volts. All right. I'm not faking this. This isn't trickery. And just to prove it, there's a cap. This is a cap that actually tested okay. Alright, is this the one? I forget which one. We can go through more of them. You can see that the machine does work. No, this is the bad one too. Okay. Alright, let's test some other caps. I don't know. Another, what is this? Wind cap. This is a 330 microfarad, 16 volt. This is all out of this radio. Believe me when I tell you. All these wind caps, I don't stock any wind cap crap, or this all came out of this radio. $318, you guys seeing that? $318, which is, it's close enough. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. ESR 0.4. All right. Let's do another one. We'll do one of these little ones. What's this one? This is a 10 microfarad, 25 volt wind cap. All right. This will be the last one we test. I got another bad cap. Anyway, I think that's the one that I had put in there anyway. But let's get we'll do one more. This is another wind cap. 16 volt, 100 microfarad. Yeah, this one. 103. Hopefully the glare isn't bad. Okay. 103. ESR of 1.4. Anyway, that's all I really have about caps. Hopefully, you guys can see that the capacitors that were in this radio were crap. And anyway, all right, badcaps.net. Hopefully you guys can see that. So go up to capacitor search, and then you want to go to manufacturer. So this is all the manufacturers that Bad Caps has. So this is the list. Everything that people have come across. Elna, Fujitsu, GE, everything. There's all these manufacturers here. Jamicon. But look, there's no Jackon. This goes in alphabetical order. Illinois Capacitor. I like that company as well. I use. They have some nice capacitors. When I can't get something in the Nichicon, I go to IC, Illinois Capacitor. Anyway, no Jackon and no Stone, which is a little strange that no one has come across. Stone. There's Strong, STM Microelectronics, STK, Stackpole Electronics. But yeah, no Stone Electronics. Zhang, Zifeng Wei, but no Stone. All right. So there's very little information on both of those caps. So for me, that's a red flag right off the bat. A red flag. I even tried looking it up. If people have talked about it, and I couldn't find anything on the forums. Nothing. So this would be the forums. And I couldn't find anything out. Well, there was a list. Somebody had a list here of stuff, and Stone was on the list, but I couldn't find any information on it, whether it's a reputable brand or not, or whatever. Anyway, I think you guys get the picture here. Let me just do WinCap. Talking about leaking. WinCap isn't a remarkably reliable brand either, per the experience of certain members here. Again, their high voltage caps might be okay, but generally due to poor whatever. I think you guys get the idea here. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is a very reputable place to get information on. And I'm glad that I got the okay to do the caps on this radio. And honestly, I would suggest anybody who has a radio with these capacitors do the same. I know I'm going to get dislikes over this video, it's expected, but whatever, this is the truth, and you can't really deny, you can't deny the testing, so anyway, let me end this video here. Thanks for watching.